Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to make yourself a cup of coffee or tea with snacks if you want, because today we have very interesting stories, and one of them is a story about a man who thinks his daughter is above the law because he's a cop. Please subscribe if you haven't and I hope you'll enjoy it. Background. I have anxiety and RTS. I train my husky, who is a super cute doggo, to react to my anxiety by pushing me as well as both verbal and non-verbal commands. I don't often take him with me into stores as he shed. Meet the cast. ED. Entitled Dad. EB. Entitled Brat. SC. Stupid Cashier. DC. Douch Cop. MH. My hero. Doggo. My doggo. Me. OP. I was on my way home after picking up my best friend Doggo from the groomers and having his coat blown out. I decided to stop and get foodstuffs from the local food library. As I keep his service vest in the car, I decided I will take Doggo with me to not have him mess up the windows with his wet nose, and I had to work later as ride-share driver. Anyway, I equip his armor and we go inside. Enter Douch Cop. No, out. He said as I walked past. As I'm used to security guards having issues with my doggo, I turned around and Doggo put himself between me and DC, showing his service dog, do not pet, and he goes back to his phone. Please note this interaction. I don't take a lot of time to grab some things for pasta. A wild EB appears. She runs around the corner, spots me and Doggo. Ah. Wolf. And runs away. I'm used to this. Doggo is only 50 pounds and is brown and white. Does not look like a wolf to adult, but kids think he is. I grab a pack of electrolyte liquid, it's got what plants crave, and turn around to find ED, EB and SC coming toward me. Now this next part, I am trying to emphasize the stupidity. Screw me, why you have this wolf in my store? Hello? I asked you why. She's talking before I can open my mouth, and I kinda go blank in expression. This is my service animal, he is wearing his vest, and I am protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act. She asks me to leave and I refuse as she huffs off to get the manager. ED is now walking away and I think this is the end. I thought very wrong. DC, ED are at the front of the store and EB is crying her eyes out. ED turns looking at me in line and starts lapping his knees, saying come here wolf, come here boy. At this point DC charges at me, sir, did you steal a service animal? He screams. I am lost for words. Doggo goes into action, he starts to leap up and push into me, eventually I catch him and pick him up like a toddler and he starts to love on my neck. EB screams, he's hurting my wolf, Mr. Wolf are you okay? Stop hurting him. The next few seconds everything is kinda of a blur, but I end up on the ground, handcuffed. Doggo is bolting around the store running from ED and EB enter MH, a senior officer. I hear someone I can't see say someone get that dog over here, now. I call Doggo by his name and he comes right away, sits on my foot and wags his tail. EB grabs his guide handle and ED tries to leave. Doggo is trained to follow his lead, so he does calmly take a few steps before MH asks what happened and whose dog this is. EB starts crying about her wolf and ED starts to explain, it's his dog, it's a service dog for his blind wife, who is at home. MH asks him to give his dog commands and he tries the basic English command of sit, lay and stay. Which Doggo knows and follows. I eventually muster up asking to call the number on his tag. My phone rings and DC asks ED if I switched collars. ED says, that's not Wolf's collar, he must have switched it. MH asks if I can prove he is mine, I ask for my hands to be freed and MH uncuffs me. This entire time, people are coming and going from the store and my doggo is facing me whining. I give him non-verbal commands with my hands and then face the camera at the food library entrance. That I say, pointing to the camera, and MH talks with another employee for a few moments and asks if I want to press charges. Without hesitation, I say yes and ask for a report with everyone's names included and ask to make a formal complaint against DC. After we finish, the store manager offers me $400 on a gift card and an apology for the way I was treated by his employee. ED was arrested and his not blind wife came to get EB. She also apologized for what happened and had to correct EB as she told her mother that I was stealing their wolf. I literally cannot realize why people try to take other people's dogs, especially a service animal. There are so many stories where EP tries to take someone else's animal. What's wrong with those people? My mother-in-law is an entitled parent and can have temper tantrums. This was one. A while ago I went to a little food court with my boyfriend, his parents, and his sisters. Our dietary restrictions were as follows. One person who loves meat, father-in-law, or FIL, one person who is lactose and peanut intolerant, my boyfriend, or BF, 3 vegans, one of whom, SI1 lira, is lactose and sugar intolerant, yep, that exists, mother-in-law or MIL, sister and LAW1, and 2 are SI1 lira, and SI2 lira, one person who is just a picky eater, me. This food court had 4 restaurants. A seafood place, not vegan, a pizza place, not lactose-free, there's usually milk in the pizza, a regular restaurant with a real menu, and a snack bar. During this whole story, the chef of the regular restaurant was prepping food nearby and talking to us. BF doesn't like fries, and there were no vegan sides for SI1 lira and 2, so we quickly ruled out the snack bar. Seafood restaurant had no vegan option, so ruled out as well. The pizza place gave my BF and SI1 lira a very bad tummy ache last time, so was ruled out. This leaves the real restaurant, which wasn't more expensive than the others. We walked over there and asked for the allergen info so we could see what the vegan options were. In the Netherlands, restaurants are required to have a sheet with all their dishes and what they contain, so it's easy to check without bothering the staff too much. SI1 lira noticed that a delicious vegan dish was served with a non-vegan sauce, so she asked the chef who came to offer help if he could serve it without the sauce. He said it was no problem and asked if we had any other questions. SI2 lira asked him if he could make one of the dishes without a certain vegetable, and again no problem. My BF asked him what kind of ice cream they used for dessert, some types like sorbet are often lactose-free, and it was regular ice cream, but the chef offered to make a dessert that wasn't on the menu. An assortment of fruit. Everyone was delighted at this option. Then came my mother-in-law. She is usually very nice and smart, but not today. I don't see anything on the menu I like. But you like tomato soup, right? Yes, but I already ate that last week, I want something different. There are salads on the menu, and even a vegan burger. No, I really feel like eating French fries today. The rest of us asked the chef if we could order French fries from the kids' menu, it wasn't on the regular one, and again, no problem. He was happy to help. Why would we go here to eat French fries? We should just go to the snack bar. Rest of us, because you are the only one who wants to eat there, and you can order fries here too. I just don't get it, why do you all want to eat here? They have nothing. They have plenty, even me found something she likes. Well, I'm putting my foot down, I want to eat at the snack bar. Okay, you go get food from there and we'll order here. We'll meet again at that table over there. Fine, we'll go to the restaurant. But I still don't understand why we can't just stop. Just stop. Do you really want to force 2 of your kids to have horrible stomach cramps all evening just so you can eat fries from a specific place? You're just overreacting, it wasn't that bad. Yes, it was. We made jokes about BF looking pregnant all evening, remember? His stomach bloats like crazy when he ingests dairy. After that we finally sat down to order, but MIL still wasn't done complaining. Can you make dish 1 with the meat from dish 2 and substitute the sides with those from dish 3 and make the sauce without cream? Mom, just eat it without sauce. Or choose a different one. And they can't just mix 3 dishes. Well, DISH1 is vegan, it has fake meat. DISH2 uses real meat, and the vegetables from DISH3 are cooked in broth for extra flavor, so those aren't vegan either. The best I can do is leave off the sauce and see if we have leftover vegetables from DISH4 and add those for you. We should have just gone to the snack bar. If you want fries you can just order those from the kids menu, you look young enough, wink. After that comment MIL lightened up a bit and we could finally move on and order our food. Nobody had a stomachache, everyone enjoyed the food, and we still make jokes about MIL desperately wanting to eat at a snack bar when she's usually the one to choose the most expensive restaurants you can find. When I read the list of all the eating requirements for your group, I'd have to think anywhere you went with that particular group would be a nightmare. Past goes like this. EK. Entitled brat of my co-worker. EP. Dad and co-worker. Me. Myself. I used to be a police officer in a pretty small town. I had worked in this town for over 10 years and seen many officers come and go for several reasons. When a department hires someone new, I usually can tell what kind of person they will be fairly quickly. When they hired EP, I immediately was put off by his arrogance. He would always cut his training officer off when something was being explained. He would say, "Yeah, I already know." He would also joke around and say how he was smarter than the other officers working there. His behavior became so annoying the other officers and I complained to the chief. The chief said he would finish training him and found his arrogance pretty funny. Needless to say, everyone avoided him. One Saturday afternoon I was on duty and patrolling and got a call from dispatch. Dispatch said that a group of teenagers were racing ATVs on public streets. It is illegal in my state to drive ATVs on the roads. I quickly found the teenagers riding in the middle of the city's main street. Cars behind them were honking and telling them to get off the road. The teenagers responded with flipping them off and cursing. I quickly turned on my lights and siren and immediately recognized one of the drivers as EK. She glared at me and rolled her eyes and continued going. The other kid looked at me wide-eyed and shocked and immediately pulled over. I told him to wait in the parking lot of the store until I came back. I then caught up with EK, who was still driving the ATV. I used my PA system to order her to pull over. She eventually does and intentionally stops in the middle of the road. I got out to talk to her and she immediately started revving the engine of the ATV, drowning out my words. I grabbed the ATV's magnetic key and yanked it off. This is how the conversation went that followed. "What do you think you're doing?" Giggles and says her EP's name. "What?" Raises her voice. I said EP, her dad's name. Every question I ask her she just says her dad's name. This girl was maybe 14 or 15. She was old enough to know she was being disrespectful. She also thought the whole thing was a joke and continued laughing. I had enough and grabbed her and put her in handcuffs. She started screaming and trying to kick me. I easily was able to cuff her and put her in the back of my car. Even though I did not like EP, I still contacted him by cell phone and told him what was going on. "Your daughter was riding an ATV through town on the main street and holding up traffic." "So?" I told her she could. "You told her she could break the law." "Yeah, it's a boring town anyway, what else does she have to do? You should be setting an example and not letting your family members break the law. Your daughter didn't even pull over for me at first. Just stop, I don't need a lecture from you. You're a joke, that's why she didn't stop for you. You have stayed in this town too long and have never gone anywhere bigger. I've already applied for a better job and I'll be out of here, but you're pathetic and you'll stay." I was actually speechless for a moment. I never realized EP was this arrogant. I chose to stay where I was at because I like the people who lived there. So where is my daughter now? Handcuffed in the back of my squad. She's under arrest for evading. What? You better let her go right now or I'll beat the crap out of you. Are you threatening me with retaliation for doing my job? Screw you, I'm calling the chief. EP hung up and I contacted dispatch for a tow truck for the ATV. I actually knew the other kid's parents that was driving the other ATV. So I gave them a call and they were not too happy. They told me they would take care of it. They actually later sold his brand new ATV because of his behavior. My chief called me and asked me what was going on because EP had just called him. EP said I was harassing his daughter because I didn't like him. I laughed and told him what was really going on. He was pissed. Not only did EP tell EK she could break the law, but he thought his job at our department was a joke. The chief actually told me to let EK go home with her mom. He said she just listened to her dad. I wasn't too happy about this at the time because she was old enough to know what she was doing. The chief told EP to not come get his daughter or have any contact with me. He contacted EK's mom and she came and picked her up. As I uncuffed her, I told her, I hope you learned something today. So to wrap things up, on Monday the chief watches the dash cam footage. Then he hears EP on the phone because I had it on speaker. EP was fired and moved out of town when he got a job elsewhere. He didn't last long there because of his arrogance. Well, he shouldn't be a cop in the first place. He should be blacklisted from the role of law enforcement. Because he will allow himself more and more over time. Past. Me. Yours truly, B. My big brother, EM. Entitled Mom, TG. Tour guide. Backstory. I was 12 or 13 at the time when my family and I, mom, dad and a 1.5 years older brother, went to Tenerife and stayed in this hotel that had a couple of outside pools that had cold water, spa and one indoor pool which had warm water. In the spa there were jacuzzis and saunas. The spa was 18 and my parents went to the spa. There was a sauna next to the indoor pool. My brother and I were allowed to go swimming and we went to the indoor pool. Story. B and I were swimming in the indoor pool as there came one German tourist group to the pool. B and I thought that it's getting kind of crowded in the pool and we were kind of cold, so we decided to go in the sauna. There was this about 55-year-old woman who started to speak German instantly. We just walked past her and went to the back corner. B and I noticed there was no bucket with water to throw on the stove and it was pretty lame heat. So we just stayed there longer. The lady just kept speaking German and started to get frustrated. She then had this really good idea of speaking English. I was thinking finally she decided to switch the language. All it took her was 10 minutes to speak in German. My brother doesn't speak English as good as me, so I had to translate every sentence to him. Hey, you need to leave the sauna, you are not 18. No, we aren't, and there is no age restriction to the sauna. The spa has an age limit of 18. You can die here. I'm just trying to protect you. I appreciate your concern, but we have been to sauna 3 times a week from our births. Sometimes even more. Don't lie to me. I'm not lying to you. Where are your parents? I want to speak to them. They are in the spa. What? They are in the spa. Why aren't they here watching you? They are bad parents. You could drown in the pool or die in the sauna. They are not bad parents. We were at a baby swim lessons and ever since I have been swimming. And we have been to sauna 3 times a week every week to this day. So they trust our ability to swim, sauna and act like a well-behaved person. We are from Finland and we even used to give birth in saunas. B and I left the sauna and went swimming. We started to laugh and talked in Finnish. We were kind of shocked that we were confronted by a crazy woman. Then the tour guide comes up to us. You are from Finland, aren't you? Yes, we are. I heard what you were talking and I just want to say don't worry. She is causing all of these situations. Yeah, she was rude. She started yelling and called us liars when we told we have been to sauna a lot and that we are very experienced swimmers. Okay, I'm going to talk to her about it. TG went to talk to EM and we went back to sauna. We thought the situation was all done, but EM steps in the sauna. We had found a plastic mug that was relatively big. What's that? That's not allowed. Okay, where does that read? On the rules right next to the door. Come and show it to us. We didn't see it. No, you just don't know how to read, so there is no point. Okay then. I grab the mug and throw the water on the stove. She gets annoyed and walks out. Okay, come here and I show you the part where it says that. She points to a part where there is no throwing beer, soda on the stove. No peeing on the stove. Yes, no beer, soda or pee on the stove, but there are no restrictions on water. We all went back to the sauna and started throwing the water from the mugs to the stove. EM couldn't handle the heat so she left. She was so angry. When we left the sauna we saw her son who didn't want to be seen with her. And I understand the reason. People have basic physical capabilities. How dare they? Some children are much smarter than the old ones, and I wonder when we turned the wrong way. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about a woman with a kid who demanded OP give them her safe mask, and then the police came. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.